when anybody tells you that politics is bullshit or that they don't want to get involved, tell them that the future of this country, and in terms of climate change, the future of the planet is at stake. You can't sit it out.
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Here we go. We're live with the one and only Bernie Sanders. Hey, everyone.
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
It's me here. I'm right here.
He's right here. He's teaching me how to use Instagram.
Yeah, I had to explain to her because she's really unfamiliar with this technology. And I myself have been doing it about 50 or 60 years, so I wanted to explain it.
Exactly. So I'm learning from a pro. Hey, everybody. I'm going to put the Q&As on, and we're just going to kind of fire up Instagram Live Q&As. So you can ask Bernie or me anything. We're coming at you from Las Vegas, Nevada. What high school are we at right now?
Chaparral.
We're at Chaparral High School in Las Vegas.
Yes, Common Bomb from YouTube Crapper Gazette. How could you have forgotten what school you were in when you just walked right through the building, ma'am?
We're about to start a rally, so let's figure out.
And we just came from Los
right.
Angeles.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, just happened earlier today.
And we had about 14,000 people out, and Alexandria was great.
How was that turnout great compared to Donald Trump's turnout when he could sell out the entire arena and the entire parking lot? And Mr. Sanders, why did you mansplain over her?
We had a lot of fun. Beautiful.
As were you, Bernie. It was awesome. Really beautiful weather. Nice to get out of the cold of the Northeast.
What is it that you have with the Northeast? You've lived there since you were born. What's up with that?
It's a little perk. So let's see. Ooh, hold on. Oh, someone just said, how are you guys?
Mandy Sullivan, why did you call Ms. Cortez a guy when she's clearly a woman?
We're good. We're great.
How is it possible to be good and great?
We just came from Las Vegas. We just came from Venice Beach. We're at Las Vegas.
Did you just have an actual brain fart, or is this one of your famous trademarks?
Someone says, Bernie, we love you. You're amazing.
Thank you.
How much was that person paid when you made that person say that?
Here's one. How will the Green New Deal affect U.S. economic growth? Have any thoughts on that?
I do. I think it will be a major step forward for economic growth because we can create up to 20 million good-paying union jobs.
Mr. Sanders, why does it have to be union? Aren't unions known to be really crooked and messed up?
We have to retrofit God knows how many buildings in America, make them energy efficient.
Are you not aware that this will cost more than the country can afford, sir? And just to throw in my opinion, that's really fucking stupid.
We're going to invest very heavily in wind, solar, geothermal, and other sustainable energies, and we're going to make those products here in the United States.
Mr. Sanders, are you not aware that those alternatives are not as reliable and as powerful as regular fossil fuels, sir? Where were you on August 20th, 2019, when Walmart tried to go green and sign up with Tesla to have solar panels in their stores? But unfortunately, the faulty solar panels caused fires on 7 of their stores, which led to Walmart suing them.
We're going to transform our transportation system away from fossil fuel to an electrified system, build a new rail system.
And how reliable do you think they'll be, Mr. Sanders, in certain areas where they have rain and snow? Will they be safe and reliable if drivers tend to take them off-road?
We're going to create a whole lot of jobs. But at the end of the day, what is most important about this issue is we don't have a choice.
If I may interject, Mr. Sanders, you're full of crap.
We are now facing a global crisis.
Mr. Sanders, you say that it's a global crisis, and yet you're telling that the United States should change their ways. Have you talked about this crisis in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, China, North Korea? Are you planning to go to those countries?
And if we don't act decisively, and the Green New Deal is the only way to do it, the planet and the country that we leave our kids and future generations will be increasingly unhealthy and uninhabitable. This is not an option. We have got to go forward vigorously, and the Green New Deal is the approach.
Mr. Sanders, could you just give us a prime example of what is known as a straw man?
Absolutely. And I think when it comes to creating economic growth, too, is that, climate change is the biggest crisis of our lifetimes, potentially the biggest crisis that humanity has ever faced.
Ms. Cortez, same question.
But that also means that addressing it means we can put a lot of people to work. We need to decarbonize every major industry in the United States, from transportation to construction.
Are you two not aware that the World Health Organization has recognized the United States to have the cleanest air quality in the world?
And even, transforming what our economy is based on. Instead of fossil fuels It needs to be based on renewable energy and also low carbon jobs and, human health care, child care, teaching. We need to really focus on work where we're taking care of each other. And that's going to be a really big core of what
But
we're doing.
taking what Alexandria just said,
Mr. Sanders, what's with the mansplaining?
it's a simple concept, but it's a profound concept, taking care of each other. What does that mean? It means that we've got to take care of our children and have affordable, high-quality, universal childcare. That's what it means. We need to bring a whole lot of young people into the teaching profession so that we have, raise our expectations. Why don't we have the best public school system in the entire world? Why don't we have the best healthcare system in the entire world? We can do those things if we are prepared to stand together and have a vision for the future, which is different than just allowing the very rich to get richer.
Mr. Sanders, isn't it the best option to leave it to the private sector, since they do better than the public sector? And what you just said about the richer thing, aren't you rich as well, Mr. Sanders? Is this what you would be called a, hypocrite?
So I've got a question, Bernie. Now that I've been in Congress for a year.
And you're basically doing a shit job, ma'am. Sorry, I just had to throw it out there. Sorry.
I have felt the insane amount of pressure that there is to conform and to buckle to special interests, not just from the Republican Party, but even within the Democratic Party, to buckle to big donors and industry and health insurance. And so,
because your policies and your actions have been really crappy since day one, ma'am. Sorry. I'm just here to get questions and report. That's all. I'll shut up with the opinions. I'm done.
my question is, how were you able to stick in there
When you say stick in there, is that used as a double entendre?
for a whole career, especially when there weren't as many people willing to do that?
It was not easy. You don't know this, but when I was first elected as an independent, Democrats did not know what to do with me. And I did not get my committee assignments.
Mm-hmm. You didn't get committee
Initially.
assignments. Yeah.
And it was a very painful experience. They didn't know what to do with me. Finally, they did. And they put me on the committees that I wanted to be.
Mr. Sanders, were you known to be a whiny little bitch? Not a legit question, sorry. Man, being a news reporter is hard.
But, what I saw, and I'm sure you're seeing every day, is Republicans and Democrats spending an enormous amount of time dialing for dollars. I presume that's still...
Absolutely. They call it the boiler room, where members of Congress go into basements and just call rich people all day, asking them for $2,500
That's right.
each.
Ms. Cortez, are you or were you on investigation the way you handled your money through campaign finances in the past?
That's what went on when I was there. That's what's going on now. It's what goes on in the United States Senate. And that is why what we are doing in this campaign is so extraordinary and is so revolutionary. We have now received more campaign contributions from more people than any campaign in the history of the United States of America, averaging $18 apiece.
That's incredible.
It is incredible.
And yet you had complications paying your campaign staff a decent amount of money, sir. Can you explain that?
No, honestly, I've been a little disappointed this week hearing people say that, if you're low income or don't come from a background of means, that you have to rely on billionaires to run a campaign. And it's just not true. And
But here's the trick. It's a catch-22. You can't raise small donations unless you are prepared to stand up for working people.
yeah.
But,
And yet you're trying to promote green jobs, which would eliminate the oil, coal, and fossil fuel industry, which means that many people who work in those industries will be out of work. Can you explain this, sir?
So if you don't have an agenda that speaks to working people, why will people contribute 10 or 20 bucks they want?
If I may interject, you are pissing me off, sir.
So it's, so then what ends up happening, these guys have an agenda that represents the wealthy, and then they go out to the wealthy and get their money. And that's why we are where we are right now.
Yeah, it definitely takes a leap of faith, but I think it's really important, and it shows that that's what movement politics is all about. Is that it works and it gathers behind the people who come from movements. And sure, in some ways, it's a leap of faith in that you don't know when you take a position for working people if everything's just going to materialize the way that You know, if you take a certain healthcare position that's good for insurance companies, they will cut you a check. You don't necessarily know that when you're fighting for a $15 minimum wage, but it works. And that's what, we really need to expand our movement into, in that it's going to be more than one person or two people, but that we need everyone running from PTA to Congress to the presidency to be accountable to everyday working people in the United States.
And yet our current president is doing just that and has got more support than any. Can you explain this, sir? Or ma'am? Probably not.
From my view, the only way we're going to beat Trump is when we have the largest voter turnout in history of this country. So please, anybody out there, do not underestimate the strength of Trump. He's going to be a tough guy to beat, but he can be beaten if we bring young people into the political process, working people who've kind of given up on politics. So for everybody out there, the most important thing that you can do is, when anybody tells you that politics is bullshit or that they don't want to get involved, tell them that the future of this country, and in terms of climate change, the future of the planet is at stake. You can't sit it out.
Mr. Sanders, it seems that you want them to vote, but at the same time, you want them to vote for a specific person. And if they vote for someone that you don't like, well, you disagree with them. Can you explain this, sir?
So tell them you don't want to hear them moaning and groaning about low wages or student debt or climate change, that if they are concerned about those issues, they must get involved in the political process.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there are two kinds of swing voters in this country. There's people who go from red to blue and blue to red, but there's also people that go from non-voter to voter.
That is right. That's right.
And voter to non-voter. And our swing voter is the non-voter to voter. This election, we cannot afford to sit it out. And if people think, as Bernie said, like, for those folks who think that politics is bullshit, like, I understand why people feel that way, 100%. But this year, let it be BS 363 days of the year, and then vote in your primary and vote in the general election, and then go back to thinking that. But just suspend your disbelief so that we can defeat one of the most dangerous presidents that we have had in recent history.
Okay, cut! All right, I've had it. Listen, stop. This is Kermit the Angry Frog, and would you like to know why I'm angry? I will tell you why I'm angry.
That's all the time we have today for Kermit the Frog.
I want to give a big thanks to Klebelle the Fennecon for this awesome artwork of me in a fedora. I mean, look at that. I look so awesome in a fedora. And the cigar is a nice touch, too. Her link to her DeviantArt will be below. Thank you, and I'll catch you next time.